did remember the term volume.
Today we are with Two Blue, and I want each one of you to introduce yourselves, if you would.
I'm Jack Dudley.
Bruce Andrews.
George Dudley.
John Scalici.
Dave Goins.
All right. And tonight you are doing a gig for the Alabama Blues Project. Very notable and very noteworthy organization. Tell us a little bit about Alabama Blues Project.
Well, I'll tell you what I know about the Alabama Blues Project. I think all of us know a little bit. I taught for them for a couple of camps, taught harmonica for them. But the Alabama Blues Project is a non-profit organization. In short, they teach kids about the history of Alabama-rooted music. And of course, that's mostly blues, or largely blues, or blues-oriented music. Also, in that process, the kids learn a little bit of the history, but also music fundamentals. And it differs from other music programs in that I would say the kids that come in there a lot of them are disadvantaged in some way or another. A lot of them are, I would say, economically disadvantaged. So they may or may not be plugged into a school or a public music program. So in this program, they'll basically the whole thing runs on a track, especially the first three grades, you'd say, of that program runs on a track that meshes with blues in the key of E. So basically, the kids have a breakthrough the first day. You know, if a kid felt like he couldn't learn, he walks out of there the first day playing Bo Diddley and he thinks he's a rock star. So you know, and I just think that there's a creative fire in all of us, and some of those kids that are pressed down the most, if they can just get a little spark, then they're fired up, you know, to go on and pursue music. But having said that, in short, and wrapping up that question with this terribly long answer, the Alabama Blues Project has graded bands, and the advanced band is quite good. I mean, I dare say that they're better than a lot of big boys I see playing the blues out there. So, you know, they do themselves proud with the flagship part of it.
Okay. They are inspired by guys like you, but like George, who inspired you to get into music?
Into music in general, probably my parents.
Okay.
We grew up in it. They fed us playing in lounges all over the Northeast. There were house bands and you know, hotels and VFWs and stuff, you know, like that.
What was her name, George?
George and Judy Dudley.
What? I thought it was the Farkles.
Yes, it was at one time. It was for several years, actually.
I'm sure there's a story that goes along with
Yeah.
This is most embarrassing when you're 13 and 14 and trying to be a rock star.
with your parents. Well, my parents are the Farkles.
Parents rocking with the Farkles. They made a living there.
Yes, they did.
They raised all of us.
Yeah.
Playing music.
But that would have been my original inspiration. Then the regular, you know, the standards, all guitar players, you know, hear Jimi Hendrix or Kiss or whatever when you're growing up. Start being in a band when you know 2 chords and go from there.
Yeah.
Just work at it.
I know that Jack's kids have followed in his footsteps. Has yours?
I think they will.
They will?
Yeah, my daughter's in the school band, so she's actually learning how to play an instrument instead of trying to learn. And I think she has a natural gift. So see what happens with it. She loves the band, so just let her do it and see what happens.
And John, you're not a regular member.
I'm not. I'm an honorary stiff.
He's a stiff.
He's being inducted tonight.
I'm very excited about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you get into percussion or drums?
Oh, wow.
Who inspired you?
Well, I just grew up playing on cardboard boxes and pot tops like everybody else, I guess, gets into it. I didn't have a musical family, but I had a musical brother who played guitar. And I grew up playing with singer-songwriter stuff, like Neil Diamond and John Denver and Jim Croce, stuff like that. That's kind of what ended up sparking me. And then I just kind of took it from there and played kit, you know, for the next, you know, 25 years or so. And got into blues rock, but I was inspired by a lot of Southern rock, just like every Southern teenager is. And then as I got older, fell into blues and blues rock, and I'm a big Chris Layton fan, you know. And then after I found Chris Layton, I went back and, you know, started studying all the old blues drummers like Fred Below. Then I got to move to Memphis, Tennessee for about 5 years and got to back up some pretty old cantankerous bluesmen and cut my teeth that way, and had a couple of bands, and you know, here I am now, primarily focusing on West African percussion of late, but I kind of got it from all different directions. So, but I'm just glad to be here with these guys. I haven't been this excited to play a drum kit in a long time, really. So I'm excited.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Pressure on.
Yeah,
Pressure's
man.
on him.
It's on us, man. Pressure's on us.
Well, no, I
Yeah.
assure you, no.
I feel like this might be the date you always dreamed of, and then hey, you go home. Yeah.
No,
She
no.
got bad breath.
Yeah. Or something.
All right, Bruce, where'd you get your inspiration? What started you?
Well, I think, you know, like everybody else, you know, I got into thinking about music for the wrong reasons. Obviously, you know, I wasn't, after about age 14 or 15, I probably decided that I wasn't going to continue with sports. So if I was ever going to get any women, that I better rely on, you know, something else. Like, so I thought, maybe if I could sing with a band. Yep, you laugh, right?
Really, he's just
We all
saying
know
what we
what
should have said.
Yeah.
He's telling us.
So, but you know, as time went on, I mean, I'll compress a lot of time for you. So the upshot of that is, like probably the rest of these guys, I've been in some kind of band since I was 14 years old. But I think at about 16 or 17, I discovered that my parents actually knew what was going on. They had a huge blues and jazz collection of LPs and you know, 78s, and had quite a knowledge of music history. And so they turned me on to the blues first. And then as a result of that, you know, you start going, oh wow, Eric Clapton's a blues man. Oh wow, you know, this stuff I've been listening to is blues based. You know, and for a while, for instance, I think at about age 17 or 18, I was completely obsessed with Johnny and Edgar Winter and everything they were doing. There were two white boys playing the blues, so I was interested in what they were looking at. And then after that, maybe Led Zeppelin, and it fascinated me that Led Zeppelin actually had was copying some gospel blues guys like Blind Willie Johnson and stuff like that. So sort of, you know, and out of all that, of course, it was easy to become interested in the harmonica, because that's you know, everybody was, even from that time on, I saw that everybody else was going to be better at the guitar than me. I'd taken lessons. I took lessons when I was 15 or 14, and so you know, I just decided that you know, playing the harmonica and singing and songwriting was where it's at, and I've been plugging away at it one way, shape, or form since then.
Takes up less space in the
Yeah.
back seat.
Yeah.
Well, you know, here's the thing with the harmonica. If you're pretty good, everybody goes, "Hey, you're pretty good with that whole thing." If you know, but if you're bad on a saxophone, I mean, you suck up the whole room.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? The learning curve on a saxophone or flute, no, it's just painful.
That's right.
You know, and on a harmonica, you know, every hippie in the world, you know, in the 70s, blowing one any damn way. So, I mean, you know, why not just get on board?
Sure.
You know, everybody's doing it anyway.
All right.
You're too
Yes,
modest,
Mr.
Bruce.
I started actually getting interested in music when I was 5. My brother was 9 years older than me, and he was a phenomenal kit drummer. I mean, phenomenal. Phenomenal was an understatement. Now, he might have sucked, but because he was 9 years older than me, he was phenomenal. And anything he did was you know, was hero worship. And because my mom worked, he would take me to high school band practice, and I hope this guy don't see this, but there was a guy named Dewey Anderson. They called him D.A., and I always thought it meant Dewey Anderson, but they called him D.A. for another reason.
I'm looking up on Facebook
And,
right now.
yeah, exactly. And my brother would say, "Look, my little brother could play that better than you can, Dewey." And I'd get up there and play, you know, the snare part or whatever else, because I was mimicking what he was doing. And so I would go to his little rock band, which they played a lot of Chicago, Earth, Wind and Fire, horn band type thing. And the guy, I've been giving the guy credit for all these years, the wrong guy. But he came up and put a conga in front of me and said, "Here, play along with us. You can't hurt anything." And I, sit in the back of the room and kind of tapped on it a little bit. And this is kind of cool. I never thought I could play drums because my brother was so good. I could never measure up. So I started playing hand percussion and did it for forever. That was, when I was 5, and I'm now 50. And so taught marching percussion for a lot of years, and finally retired from that. And now I'm having fun with it. And discovered the blues through him. I hated the blues, despised it, until I started playing with these guys, and it was like, wow, this is some pretty cool stuff.
Well, they both hated it too.
I know.
There's
See, it's all
hatred.
your fault. It's all your fault. Yeah. I mean, you sucked us right into the vortex, and but we,
We're just desperate to play, man.
Yeah, exactly. We just nobody would have us, so we say, hey, what the heck?
What
We'll
people
start
blues
band.
into something that ain't exactly.
I don't think. I mean, I think what we play is blues based. So it's
Yeah.
thanks to these guys, it's kind of funky. So
How did you get together though? You're all.
you really want to know that?
Yeah.
You got it. Okay.
No, you didn't get.
What now?
You didn't get to tell us what inspired him.
Yeah.
Well, it had to be the same things. You had got the same
Pretty
parents.
much,
so.
You just say ditto.
You want to relate how we all got together then?
Yeah.
No, you do a better
that.
job.
You don't remember.
So, well, I mean, it involves these guys, Jerry. I worked for a what now?
I'd like to know that.
Oh, wait, you went.
Coffee and short
Education,
shorts.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, in the process of me trying to figure out a way to be to make myself relevant, I went to which has been a failure for a long time. It's a sojourn. So I went to work for a record company. I don't guess they call them record companies anymore, but it was out of Nashville, and I was on the marketing end of it. So I had a 5-state area that I would promote mostly gospel music to. I worked for Benson Music Group, and really my objective was to try to meet as many artists as I could, get the songwriters' heads, and at the same time make a little money and find out the other side of the industry. And in the process, my wife, to back up just a little bit, my wife has a dance studio, so she had a space next to her dance studio. So right before I quit this record company, because the territory was just getting too big and my kids were small, I opened up a coffee shop, which in short, to condense this story, became a venue. And one of the first nights I was going to have live music there, everything was going to hell in a handbasket as far as the sound was going. Well, George had been coming in my coffee shop, and Jack, and they were carpenters. And Jack, I liked him from day one, but George is just an asshole.
Some things never change.
Took a little longer to warm up.
Yeah, I mean, ask anybody. You just come in there. He come in.
Ask him; he'll tell you.
I mean, but now we all know he's like a sweetheart of a guy, but I mean, he had a hell of a shell. I'm just saying, you got to chip through a lot of stuff to get, So anyway, George's sitting there, drinking his coffee, and I'm telling him this story about how this guy, I can't even remember who it was. Bart Ham. See, I knew he was. And he's like, I know a little bit about sound, and I'm like, okay. I said, I'll tell you what, I'll buy you. There's a great Mexican restaurant down from our town. I'll buy your dinner if you'll do the sound for me tonight. He said, deal. So he does this bang up job, puts together this crap, and makes a sound system out of all this. Long story short, he began to show up every weekend. I'd buy him number 43 off the Del Toro Mexican restaurant. Was it 43 or 47?
43.
43.
It was only $6.
Yeah, so definitely a cheap date for me. He set the stuff up, band to sound great. So again, to make this long story short, in the process, he brings me a cassette. And he says, "This is me and my brother."
I brought you the cassette.
You did it?
Yeah.
I lost the cassette, and I remember George got pissed at me because I lost the. It was like cassettes were like gold. Anyway, so I find out. Point is, I found out these guys are like incredible musicians. I mean, like they were doing like jazz, rock, fusion, epic.
Yeah.
And they had no hook, but they were like amazing musical journeys on. I mean, they really were, and I was blown away. So they started coming to play. Well, we got a band together at one time, and that faded in and out. And but the point is, over time, I lost more money than I could stand, and I had to close the thing down. So my point is, the coffee shop went away, but I made some of the best friends of my life in the process, and we started writing music together. And we probably as time was closing down, we were really just starting to get original and start writing. and the band's been in flux, but I think the constant has been George and I writing lyrics and music, and then Jack's style of bass has just always taken the arrangements to some place you just couldn't imagine without the way that he plays. I mean, and then the way Dave came in the picture, he and I are actually going to church at the same time, and there was like a period of time there I was singing with the praise band at I believe it was Westwood Baptist Church.
He was singing when he was doing a solo at church, and I told my wife, I said, and I hadn't played, you know, myself other than teaching in years, and I said, I got to play with that guy. He's got too much soul not to. So that's kind of that was my internal clock, and then
and when we went into the barn to record, he
he
brought you along.
Brought me on. He brought me on to play. They brought me on to play one tune on a record they were doing, a CD they were doing. I played Soul Light, and they tried to run me off for like 12, 15 years now, and I won't leave. Plus, I own the trailer. So
now, for the sake of this scenario we got going on here, on down the road, we won one of several of the local competitions for the IBC. Thank you. And that's what happens when you get learn stuff. It was the IBC, the International Blues Challenge, and we won the honor to play the Blues Ball one year. Was it 2010?
Yeah.
And Grady was having a reunion there, and that's the first time I'd always heard of John Scalici, and John was playing. I said, damn, one day we're gonna play with that guy.
That's right.
I said, that guy's got some fun.
Come full circle.
So it has taken this long, John,
Here we are, Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Yeah,
2012.
Now, but we play with we've been honored to play with great drummers, and John's just in that line. Steve Ramos and Dave Crenshaw, and then John Scalici. Of course, before that, Jack's son played on our album, and James Dudley.
Well, see the one that had the suitcase?
Yeah.
Playing on a suitcase?
You know, they're like the Osmonds. That's probably what y'all ask Jack. What the hell's going on in his family?
Exactly.
I mean, there's something wrong. It's in their gene pool, you know. I mean, they're like, they sit around and build amps, and, who does that stuff?
That's amazing.
All right, where does Two Blue go from here?
Well, we were going to the Capstone, and then
America's Got Talent.
we actually are.
We actually are.
I don't know if you said that out loud.
Shut up. In general, we actually are. We got two goals. One is to make a more serious product, because we're like a lot of bands. We've been playing so much and/or working so much that we put out this project and that project, and they're all sort of falling short. So we've never gone to the well deep to market the product. It's on iTunes and all that stuff you do. But so our goal this year is to get out a serious packaged product. We got a few songs in the mill we still got to get out, and also to get a serious concept video, and that's in the works. There's a guy named Kevin Wayne who's an independent filmmaker. He's got he's in a couple of movies. He's got a movie out that's called trying to think of the name of it. Black Scorpion Films.
Oh, yeah. Band of Soldiers.
Right? Mob of Soldiers.
Yeah.
Anyway, our song Dead Man's Blues will be a concept video in that movie. So out of that movie, we're hoping to get something that we can't do with our own budget, and that will give us a leg up to be taken as seriously as we'd like to be taken. So hopefully, it's all about it's all about buzz and positioning, and we'd like to get a little bit better footing in some of the major festivals. That we feel like this will give us a tool to do that. We'd like to be on Carson Daly's show, and we'd frankly like a check for $2.5 million. So and as Steve Martin put it, for all the children of the world to sing in love, peace, and harmony. Other than that, we don't want anything.
Good ending.
Yeah.